So until today, we have seen about JavaScript. JavaScript is a client-side scripting language. Okay, this scripting language adds logic to the website, logic to the static pages. Okay, so this is about JavaScript, wherein we have seen how do we process client-side data and how to add nodes on the fly. So nodes are like nothing but boxes, which you have seen in CSS model, wherein we have seen little boxes over there. Everything in HTML is a box actually. In JavaScript we call them as nodes. So how to add nodes on the fly, delete them, and change their content. We have learned a lot of things over there. Okay, now that's okay, fine. We have done a few things which are relatively dynamic on the client side, but the coding, when we look at the coding perspective, there is lot much code for doing even small animations or small changes. Okay, so that's the reason people have come up with a framework which is a light framework. When I say light framework, light in the sense it is size. Okay, in programming, anything which is called light, that means only in terms of size. So when they say in terms of size, then only it's called light. They say heavy if it's very big in size. So it's a light framework. So framework, again, what does a framework mean? Framework is a set of functions, let's say. Since this is not object oriented, JavaScript is object oriented but not completely object oriented, so here we call them as functions. Framework is a set of functions which have a particular purpose for every function. So which has framework is a set of functions which have particular purpose, let's say, not for every function again. So the purpose here is, like, for instance, like some things can be automated actually. Instead of writing heavy code, they can be automated, and all we need to do is pass parameters and expect some output, or not some, expect the desired output, let's say. So framework is generally a skeleton which is already built in there. All we need to do is do some manipulation so that we get our desired output. So that's what a framework. So here jQuery is one such framework of JavaScript. So this is nothing but background, it is JavaScript. What they have done is they have taken all the inbuilt functions of JavaScript, all the features of JavaScript, and they have written their custom functions, their custom methods, so that we don't have to write much of the code. We can just plug and play with it. Okay, which we'll be seeing in a while. So jQuery is a light framework, a lightweight framework. So usually the caption of jQuery is write less and do more. So the name itself says write less and do more. So just one line of code can do miracles in jQuery. Wherein if we have to write the same amount of the same logic in JavaScript, it may take at least 6 to 7 lines of code. I mean, the worst case I'm saying, or the best case, let's say. So there are so many frameworks for JavaScript actually. If you see, there is Express, there is Backbone, and you go in the market, since it's built on top of JavaScript, so everybody can write a framework. Even tomorrow Taufik and Pawan can both collaborate and develop a framework too, just like jQuery. Like, the background is all JavaScript functions, that is it. Okay, so there are so many frameworks out there, but why jQuery is so popular? jQuery is so popular because there is a huge community behind jQuery. Like, people contribute to it, and jQuery gets updated pretty fast. Like, they keep on adding things to make it more interactive, to make it more what I call is write less code. So that's the reason jQuery is very popular. Now jQuery has gone into mobile technology too. Like, there is a jQuery mobile, jQuery touch, wherein jQuery framework is used for mobile devices too. So jQuery is that popular, hence a lot of people talk about jQuery, a lot of people know about jQuery. Okay, so jQuery is the famous, popular, lightweight framework of JavaScript, which is used to make the same kind of things which JavaScript does in a lesser code and more actions. Okay, to summarize it. So here I'll write the syntax. So yeah, the next point. Next point is, since jQuery is a JavaScript library, so that means it is a .js extension file. So to include an external file, the syntax, the general syntax what we use here is, we say script src equal to wherever the file is a part to the file, and I close it. So we write nothing inside these tags, just to include the file. So this part to the file, so what we are supposed to do is, like, we have to include the jQuery file, jQuery file jQuery file in the src. So there are two ways we can do it, actually. Two ways to include the file. One is to download it from jquery.com. Okay, you go there, jquery.com, you see download latest version, and then place it in your scripts files, then just include it. Okay, that's one way. And then another way, which is use CDN. We have seen about CDNs when we are talking about Twitter Bootstrap. Taufik was there in the class, so it's a, I guess, computer distribution network wherein files are placed on a cloud server so that we can pull in and use those files. So the other way to include jQuery file is to use CDNs. So usually is the same syntax, it's just another external file, except that, oops. So CDN, so it's the same syntax script again. This is the standard way to include the external files. src equal to, this time it is http code.jquery.com / the latest version, whatever, which is present in the CDN, latest version.js. I mean latest version in the sense, okay, let me write the whole thing. jQuery.latest version. So they put the versions over there. As of now, the latest version is 1.10. So that's the latest version. Okay, since I told, like, these guys keep on updating the code, so hence we get the versions there. Okay, so this is how we include the CDN. So it's always advised to use CDNs, because CDNs are much faster than our server files. Whatever we include it like this, these are a bit slower, since we have to load it from the server itself. So it's an like extra load on the server. Instead, you can use the CDNs to pick them faster. So now again, for jQuery, the developers who have done it, they give us the files in two forms, actually. The first one is a compressed. So usually I call it as a production file. So when I say production file, that means this file should be in your live site, because it's a compressed one. So again, I say lightweight, like every time you should make sure that the files are very less sized. Okay, they should not be very big sized. So that's the reason I say, in production, always go for the compressed files. And there's one more thing called uncompressed, which I call development file. So here, why development file? Because sometimes you want to experiment, let's say, on jQuery main core file. So if you look at a compressed file, there are no spaces, no comments, nothing. The code is just put it there without any line breaks, anything else. The code will be in a single line if you see compressed version. Whereas in uncompressed version, there will be comments, there will be spaces, everything was purely indentated too, so that you can literally see what's in there in jQuery file. So that's the reason I call it as development file, because you can literally go into the file and check what the functions they have written for the desired output. Okay,